Smackdown 11-14 of the year 2025. Your amplified review begins right now. And right from the top, let me get this out of the way. Word around the campfire is that Smackdown is going back to 3 hours at the top of the year. I will not be saying anything about this until I get more word on it. The validity of it, what length of time, if that is the case, is that just for a short period of time to get us to WrestleMania? Is this the whole year, just going forward? Will it be 3 hours? I will find out more, and we will talk about it in great length, I assure you. Because no, if you are thinking, this is really bad, isn't it, BC, for WWE, for all of us? Of course it is. For WWE, because they've already shown you they can't handle 3 hours of television. 2.5 hours on Monday nights is too much. 2 hours on Friday nights is too much. They've already tried this 3 hours under Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Doesn't work. Remember, this is the same guy. Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Paul Levesque McMahon. This is the same guy who has said in many interviews how hard it is to do the third hour. He bitches and he moans and he cries every chance he gets so that we all understand how hard his job is, even though he's never doing it. Perhaps his job would be easier if he actually did it. And on top of that, was good at it. But he's not good at it, and it doesn't matter because he doesn't do anything. So 2 hours is even hard. So let's go back to 3. This is absolutely, if this does come to fruition, this is a USA Network deal. Trust me. They're seeing that this is a sinking ship. And they've already seen this dance. They've been to this dance before with the red brand on Mondays. USA Network is not new to this. This is part of the reason they didn't want the red brand anymore. And they were told by WWE, if you let us go to 2 hours, we can get you better numbers. They said, all right. WWE said, we can give you a better return on investment. Remember, this was the same thing that Fox. This is the reason Fox wants nothing to do with the WWE. Because at the end of their partnership, the president of Fox said we never saw a return on our investment. WWE cashed the check we gave them, and they left us high and dry. They never produced any good television for us. Fans stopped watching in droves, and we never saw a return on our investment. And now the USA Network is seeing the same thing. So they're probably like, we have nothing to lose. If we go a third hour, even at 750, 800,000 viewers per hour, will equal at a 2.4. That's probably what they're thinking. Because right now, their little 1.0s and 1.1s are barely getting them past 2 mil. If you could scrape another 300,000 to 500,000 viewers as an average, not actual new viewers, but as an average over the course of 3 hours, USA Network is grasping at straws here, guys. That's the only thing I can come up with. Because no, WWE doesn't want a third hour. Helmsley has a hard time booking one segment. And fans, ain't nobody asking for a third hour. 2 hours is a chore of this garbage television. So I said I wasn't going to say anything about it, and then I go on for 5 minutes, raging out. But as far as actual detail into this convo, I'm going to find out more. We'll talk about it when the time is right. For right now, let's jump into SmackDown 11-14-2025. This is just a couple weeks out from Survivor Series, which unfortunately it's ruined. Let's be honest, man. They tainted it with this stupid WarGames concept. Perhaps the first couple of years, it may have been fun. Maybe there was some story going into it. Maybe there was some prestige with the concept. I mean, you just look at these War Games matches. The female and the dudes. None of these matches constitutes war. None of them. Now we're just taking a bunch of random individuals. In about 1 week, we just create conflict. And we say the beef is so deep. It's gotta be War Games. What are you talking? War Games? You could probably settle this over a cup of coffee at catering. No, it doesn't need war. It needs a cup of coffee. Oh, man. Let's jump right into it, man. Zero reason to waste any more time. We already did, talking about a third hour of Smackdown. One of the stupidest concepts that one could possibly flutter into the imagination. But somehow, that's word going around the campfire. But for this show, SmackDown 11/14/25, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Lexi, and Charlie start the show off. Charlie tells her War Games team that she will not be on the War Games team. All right then. Probably could have done that, again, in the back, over a cup of coffee. Probably didn't have to wait till the show starts, get everybody out there, and then just tell them, hey, you know what? Just kidding. I'm not going to be a part of the team. You guys want to know how bad this segment was? How embarrassing it was? When Charlie said, I just can't do it. I'm not going to be on the team. Guys, she got no reaction. Not like a little reaction. Not, a few people were standing up and she got something. No, zero reaction. Then Charlie slowly goes to walk away, right? It's like she's trying to tell the crowd, no, really, I'm walking away, guys. You might want to start rumbling, right? You might want to start like standing up and going, whoa, is she really walking out? So she slowly starts to walk away. Guys, no joke. Still, no reaction. Everybody is still sitting down. Everybody's like, okay, what's happening here? What's next? Somebody going to come out? Is somebody going to... Is Charlie just going, all right, let me rethink this? So then she slowly gets out of the ring, slowly makes her way down the steps, looking at the crowd, and like, guys, I'm really leaving. Like, I'm not going to be a part of this team. And the entire crowd is still sitting, not caring at all about what Charlie is doing. They're like, all right, just can you hurry it up? Because we want to hear what the rest of them still have to say. So can you just move? So, nobody, no reaction at all. Now, as if that wasn't bad enough, guys, that was the segment. That's all they had planned. I can't even, you couldn't make it up if you tried. Because nobody is as bad and creative as Hunter Hearst Helmsley. He's the worst of the worst when it comes to booking pro wrestling. The entire segment was over. Nobody knew what was going on. Nobody could believe it. Like, was that really the first? Think about this. That was segment 1. That was Q1, guys. Somebody. Helmsley Levesque. Somebody actually approved this segment and chose to start the show off with said segment. You'd have to be a real dumbass. You'd have to be the biggest doofus son-in-law to think that this is good television and that this should be the first segment to set the tone for the night. The fact that he thinks that this is one of his big storylines, bro, ain't nobody Ain't nobody anticipating war games with these individuals. Nobody is clamoring to see Nia Jackson Lash Legend in war games. Nobody needs to see Charlie Flair and Alexa Bliss tag up with Rhea and Io to go into war games. Especially with what AEW just did on Wednesday with their ladies. What are you possibly going to do with your little PG circus? You going to bust out the kendo sticks? And the trash can lids? That was your first segment, and the crowd never even stood up. You can't even fathom the stupidity of Schnoz McGee. You can't even fathom it anymore. It's that bad. Then the first matchup of the night. Jay Yeaterman versus Miz. This is part of the Cena tournament. I noticed this crowd was yeeting less. This was such a good sight to see. I noticed a lot of fans choosing to opt out of the Chuck E. Cheese dance. A lot less excitement for the Chuck E. Cheese dance, known as the yeet. This is great news. Perhaps the yeet is finally running its course, even for the live crowds. There just doesn't seem like an energy. Everybody was just going through the motions. Oh, yeah, this is where we yeet. And he did all the things, right? He tried to keep it lively. He brought all the kids around so they could dance together, right? It's a live action Chuck E. Cheese. They're going for that 0 to 10 demo. I'm surprised Yeaterman didn't try to find a baby and hold him up. Like Simba on Pride Rock. Now, we went to a commercial, and when we came back, Michael Cole, the first thing he says is, they're still yeeting here in Albany. They're still yeeting in Albany. I'm like, oh, of course they are. But you see them, and sure enough, they're still just kind of going through the motions. And then they zoom in on Jason Yeaterman, and he goes to do his stupid, one more time. While rolling his hands. Yeah, I can't stand that. So then we go through another 2 to 3 minutes of the Chuck E. Cheese dance. But instead, Miz's music plays. Oh man, I've never been more pleased to hear that music. I've never been happier to see Miz, to be honest. Totally cut the one more time off. Now, Yeaterman would end up defeating Miz via splash pinfall. Literally nothing to even talk about. This is your typical boring Jey Uso match. If that sounds harsh, tough shit. It's harsh reality. Your numbers are in the toilet, and you book a Miz Yeaterman match? Am I supposed to say this was awesome? Am I supposed to call this a banger? Am I supposed to give this match 3.5 stars? Thankfully, BC don't do what BC's supposed to do. Next was a US Open challenge. No joke here. Everything you're hearing is amplified honesty, as in you can check it out yourself, and every word I am speaking will be backed up by the footage. Dragunov versus Axiom. And both received jobber entrances. We come back from a backstage segment, and the referee just rings the bell to start the match. I didn't even know who was wrestling at first. No joke, I'm like, whoa, a bell just rang. Who is that? Who's in the ring? Because there's so many dudes with masks, I have to actually do a triple take and make sure I have the right individual. I don't know if it's a Penta, a Phoenix, a Dragon Ball Z Lee, an Axiom, Grande 1, Grande 2, Grande 16. So I have to do the double and the triple take, but it was Axiom and Dragunov. Jobber entrances, bell rings right when we get to the ring. That was very odd. And even worse, the crowd could not care less. You would have thought it was another Charlie Flair segment from earlier. The bell rings and the entire arena was silent. You could have heard a pin drop. That's how quiet it was. And I don't even blame them. Dragunov versus Axiom after a Miz versus Yeaterman match. Snore Games is in 2 weeks, but this was Bore Games. Because it could not have been any more boring. Drago pins Axiom. And there's nothing else to say. He pins Axiom. I don't know. I wish I could even going over my notes, I'm looking for something. There was nothing. They probably shared some mutual respect afterwards. I think, you know what? I think in commercial break, Tommaso came down and beat up Axiom or something like that. Something stupid, as if anybody cares. Listen, they keep booking Dragunov like a cruiserweight. He's in there doing Spanish flies, tornado DDTs off the top rope, all of this stuff, trying to give the crowd, quote, bangers. Nobody cares. They're booking Dragunov to have cruiserweight bangers. Dragunov, get away from his size for a second. He's a legit badass. Just book him like a badass. But they booked him in the Sami Zayn role. Just go out there and have really good wrestling matches. Catch as catch can, some aerial, some cruiserweight style. Show everybody you can wrestle with wrestling moves. That's not what makes Dragunov special. Of course he can have good matches. This ain't doing it. Man, that was so sad when they rang the bell after they got jobber entrances. They rang the bell, and you could have heard a pin drop. Now, you want to blame Albany, right? You're going to hear people blame Albany. Oh, that crowd was dead. What did they show up to? Listen, they paid thousands of dollars for those tickets, and this is the show they were given. You would have made noise? What are you making noise for? Because that was the whole first hour, guys. So let's go over it again. Come on, what are you making noise for? Say you just spent hundreds of dollars bare minimum. A lot of them spent thousands. What'd you get? You got Charlie Flair telling Rhea, Io, and Alexa, I'm not going to be on this team anymore. And she walks away. Were they supposed to cheer, make noise, go, oh no, please come back? What were they supposed to do? And then that went into a Miz versus Jay Yeaterman matchup. They yeeted. A lot of them yeeted, all right? They made the noise that you're looking for. It's yeeting, bro. It's old. It's stale. It's done. So what are you saying? You would have showed up and yeeted for 25 minutes? Nobody cared about Miz and Jey Uso. Nobody cares about Charlie Flair walking away. And then Dragunov and Axiom. Even WWE knew it was boring. They gave him a jobber entrance to cut off 4 minutes. You paid all that money. You're going out on a Friday night to see Axiom versus Dragunov or Miz and Yeaterman. Because that's the first hour. They had nothing to cheer for. So you can blame Albany all you want. The blame should be placed on Hunter Hearst Helmsley and World Wrestling Entertainment because they suck. And by the way, before we actually went into hour 2, R-Truth is backstage begging Nick Aldis to take his balls back. No, really. You guys remember last week, the whole Cena Invitational and Nick Aldis is rolling a ball machine. So last week, Hunter Hearst Helmsley thought it would be funny if R-Truth walked in there and tried to put his balls into, he had his own balls and he wants them into the machine, but then he took his balls, something like that, right? But they're saying balls a lot, so it's funny. Helmsley's going to make R-Truth look like an absolute clown for his own amusement. So then this week, he doubled down. And R-Truth is in Aldis's office, and R-Truth says, and I quote, "Please take my balls back. I shined them up nice so they will look great on TV." Now, the crowd, right, they can see all this on the big screen. Usually you hear like a lot of the crowd will laugh at these segments, even if it's not funny. I mean, they're there live. They're trying to have a good time. Guys, you heard nothing. Nobody laughed because it wasn't funny. It was sad. Because this is what Helmsley is doing with R-Truth. This is obviously punishment because of the backlash, because it was Helmsley's decision to give R-Truth Das Boot. There was a massive backlash. Nick Khan, this is confirmed, Nick Khan had to tell Hunter Hearst Helmsley, we're bringing R-Truth back. This obviously made Helmsley look like an absolute idiot, a schmuck. So what did Helmsley do? He kept him at catering for several months when he came back. It was a weird third wheel with Cena and Punk, and then right after that, he was in catering. And then he, like a groundhog, came out from underneath the ground a month ago, and then recently as Santa Claus. Now he's doing ball jokes. He's right back to just being a clown for Hunter Hearst Helmsley and for Helmsley's amusement. All the momentum in the world that R-Truth had just this past summer. Remember, we were all like, dude, you can't screw this up. This is straight fire. You'd have to go out of your way to sabotage this. And he did. Helmsley just put him in catering. Easiest way to shut everybody up is not even have him on your show. I can't even believe it, man. I can believe it, I should say. I think he was left off SummerSlam too, right when this was happening. And I believe they kept him off of SummerSlam. And all the other big shows. And it's just so sad to see this dude trying to get a giggle from the crowd. Trying to get a laugh. It's like watching like just a struggling comedian. Or a comedian that's been given, or a good comedian who's just been given really bad material. And he's just struggling on stage. To watch R-Truth have to resort to this to try to get a laugh. Ball jokes. I shine them up real good so they'll look good on TV. Nobody laughed. Helmsley is probably loving it at Gorilla. Because R-Truth is his personal clown. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Anyway, Sami Zayn starts the actual hour number 2. Sami Zayn, everybody's favorite Home Depot associate, employee of the month. Just last month, by the way. He says, "How's it going, Albany? You good?" Golf clap. Nobody cared that Sami Zayn was out there. Golf clap. He did get a golf clap, though. So some people were like, "Yeah, I like Sami. He's a good guy. Good. He helped me with my ladders when I went to Home Depot for my home improvements. Buy 2 ladders, get the 3rd free." So Sami says, "How's it going, Albany? You good?" He gets a golf clap. Sami then gives it a minute to try to like get the audience to like chant his name, because there was like 10 or 15 people trying to get Sami Zayn's name, like Sami. So Zayn really waited, man. He held off. Problem was, as embarrassing as it was, it never caught on. Like never caught on. He waited a minute. Nobody wanted to chant this dude's name. So he had to start his promo with nobody giving a flying fuck. The MFTs then come to the ring. Shinsuke and the Super Soakers, the Motor City Super Soakers, follow suit, and we have a brawl between the MFTs and Shinsuke, Super Soakers, and Samuel Zayn. They brawled! It's the triangle of Helmsley's booking, right? It's a vicious, I was going to say circle, a vicious triangle. Non-stop title changes, non-stop heel or face turns, and non-stop brawls. That's all he resorts to. It's easy booking. Just repeat the process. And here is your brawl. I want nothing to do with this at Survivor Series or What did Aldis say later? I think it's either at SmackDown before Survivor Series or it's actually at Survivor Series. Either way, it might be on SmackDown. It might not even be good enough for Helmsley. He's probably like, oh, wow, did I book this trash? I don't want this at Survivor Series. The card is already bad enough. But there's a chance that this is not even going to be at Survivor Series. I'll have to check in on that. But I want nothing to do with it. I don't even care if it's on SmackDown. If this was a house show, I'd get up, leave the arena, and throw myself in traffic. I want nothing to do with any of these matches. They all suck. They're all just out of nowhere with all these random individuals and, quote, feuds I don't care at all about. I am done with Io and Rhea and the Kabukis. And Lash Legend and Nia Jackson, Charlie and Alexa, Nia and Lash. That just came. Where did that even come from? And we got to sit through a War Games with this? The end of the show we'll get to. You got Drew and Logan and Breaker and Reed with Mid-Jim and Yeaterman. And Cody from the blue brand, CM Punk from the red brand, and this constitutes as war. I want nothing to do with any of these matches. This sucks. It is pathetic where we are right now in WWE. That whole roster, and this is the garbage matchups we are getting. Survivor Series should be hella fun. Epic matches with incredible feuds. The heck are we doing? Come on, guys. What are we doing? Do I have to repeat it? Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Motor City Super Soakers versus MFTs. Oh, my. I can't. You can't even. And this is what I mean, because backstage, Mid-Jim Uso tells Cody Rhodes he's all in for War Games. As if that match wasn't stupid enough, let's add mid-card Jim Uso into the mix. This shit is riveting. Helmsley is absolutely saving WWE and pro wrestling with this booking. Mid-Jim Uso is in War Games, man. They literally call him Mid-Jim for a reason. Why is he in the... Is it really this bad in WWE? And yes, it's rhetorical. We know the answer. Of course it is. But Jim Uso? It's bad enough that Jey Uso not only calls himself main event, but they actually put him in the main event when he has no business being in the main event. They dance to his theme. That doesn't mean he should be in the main event. The guy sucks. And then they put his twin brother in there, Jim Uso, who's even more mid-card. But that's your main event award. Hey, Cody, I'm in. Oos. Oh, this is riveting. War Games is amazing. I can't wait, man. AEW, you don't even know, man. You thought you put on a good show, but Jim Uso is now entering War Games. Then we go to the Cena tournament. Second match of the night for the tournament. L.A. Knight, yeah, versus Zack Ryder. So the big mystery opponent was Zack Ryder. Now, we were kind of tipped off from this a couple hours beforehand. That was spoiled for a lot of us. If you're in the know, then you knew. So BC knew this ahead of time. The only question I had is Helmsley going to give him the Cardona name? Because Matt Cardona has said in many interviews he's not going back to Zack Ryder. He made a name for himself on the indies. It'd be like selling out, basically, right? He can't just... He's the indie god. He's the rebellious one. He can't just show up as Zack Ryder, right? All of that equity would have been wasted. So he was, talking a big game. So when Helmsley hears things like that, he likes to pull your punk card. He likes to be a douche like that. Just to screw with you. And sure enough, long radio, tell me everything you know, woo, woo, woo. And I'm like, oh my goodness. They just made this guy look like a tool and a fool. He's right back as Zack Ryder. Thank goodness they did this in New York. Now, not Long Island or Staten Island, wherever he's from. It was Albany. For those that don't know, that is nowhere near the islands. But, some people cared. I'm sure it's not the reaction they were hoping for. So you might as well have just brought him out as Matt Cardona, because they kept saying, like, oh, he made a name for himself while he was away from WWE, but they refused to say that name. He's just Zack Ryder. But it just goes against everything that Ryder had claimed. He's not going back to Zack Ryder. He's beyond that now because he can't go back, right? He built this equity as this rebellious indie god. He would look so stupid if he just sells out for the bag and becomes Zachary Ryder again. The Machine's Zack Ryder. But he did it. He actually did it, man. Helmsley said, oh yeah, and Cardona was like, just kidding. I'll get my woo-woo glasses. Zack Ryder. That's wild, man. But Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona, what do I call this guy now? He's been pretty much begging to get back to WWE for a couple of years now. Every time he's interviewed, he's I don't know why they won't want me back. I did everything. I think he honestly thought he was just going to pull a Cody Rhodes, right? Just go off on his own, create a name for himself, and WWE was going to be like, we got to get this guy back. Nobody cared, man. Nobody cared. If that sounds harsh, I don't know what to tell you. That's a reality. Nobody cared. The reaction even tonight was, and that was Albany, New York. Imagine this guy comes out in freaking Tampa or someone, Dallas. Anyway, as it pertains to this match, why would you put a returning face against LA Knight? Why would you even do that? Levesque is running out of ways at this point to diminish LA Knight. Knight would eventually win with a BFT pinfall. But we could have and should have gotten there without trying to split your own audience. There's no reason for a heel versus a heel match all the time. You're just ruining one of your heels. Bare minimum, one of your heels. And on the flip side, face versus face. You're just splitting your audience, bro. For what reasoning? Other than to sabotage your own talent. Because this is far too often. Enough with the heel versus heels and the face versus face matches. Nobody is winning, bro. You made Julia look like an idiot last week. She's supposed to be a heel with backup in Kiana James. And Chelsea is using the ropes to beat her in 90 seconds via a roll-up. She got out-heeled and embarrassed. How do you come back from that? You don't. Helmsley knows that. Julia wasn't even on this show, bro. A week after dropping her title like that, and she can't even get airtime. Rusev looked like a geek being out-heeled by little scrawny chicken nuggets. Dominic Mysterio. Low blows, rolled up. Rusev was rolled up after a low blow. Try getting that credibility back as a legit badass. LA Knight's in there. With a lot of the crowd going, woo, woo, woo. So what are you doing, man? You're confusing all the little kids that they're booking for. Am I team LA Knight or am I team woo, woo, woo? Hey, let's split the audience. Because Helmsley doesn't care. He doesn't want to make LA Knight a star. Because he got himself over. There's no reason This match should have been going on, man. You want Zack Ryder or Matt Cardona in this thing? Cool. Put him up against a heel. What a concept. Maybe he'd get a better reaction, too. Because a lot of people really like LA Knight. So, hey, they might be glad to see Ryder back. But it's like, dude, nah, LA Knight is long overdue. So it doesn't even benefit Ryder. But I think Ryder was just one of those hirings just to screw with him. Because he's been begging to get back for so long. He talked a big game. He won't be Zack Ryder again. And this is Helmsley just stroking his own ego. Jade Cargill then pins B-Fab in about 2 minutes. Post-match, Jade pushes Mia Yim. And this was hilarious. After Mia was pushed, Mia walks her. That's right, I called her Mia Yim. I'm done with this Meechin junk. Mia walks around Jade and gets behind the referee before acting all tough. Once she got behind the ref, she's like, yeah, come on. She starts trying to get at Jade. It was hilarious. She went around Jade and behind the ref and then started to be like, what? This was, I don't know if that was just, I don't know if she planned it that way or like that was just spontaneous. But it was hilarious. And then we went into the main event, Cody Rhodes versus Bronson Reed for the championship too. This was set up backstage real quick. Cody and the Vision was backstage. Paul Heyman kind of manipulated a title match. And Nick Aldis, Cody's like, Nick, book it. Nick's like, are you sure? He's like, book it. So that was your main event. Bronson versus Cody Rhodes for the title. It ended in a schmaz anyway. Everybody was out there. Logan Paul was out there. Drew McIntyre, who was suspended. But it's WWE. You can't even believe what they tell you anymore, man, because nobody follows it. He's suspended, and then all of a sudden he's part of WarGames. I'm sorry, what? What? Is that supposed to be fun television? BC, man, it was such creative from Helmsley, right? I mean, we all thought he was suspended, and then he appears 7 days later, basically, and he's in WarGames. Yeah, he is. Wow, this is brilliant, man. He's suspended, and then he's not suspended. Wow, this is great storytelling, man. It's great storytelling. So Drew's out there with Logan Paul. I think Jim Uso and Jay Yeterman hit the ring to help out Coda Finn. I don't think CM Punk was there. No, Punk wasn't out there. No Roman Reigns yet, anyway. I don't know who's. I don't even. Do you even care? Do you care? And the heels beat up the faces, and the show ends with a ragtag group: Logan Paul, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, and Drew McIntyre, and that's your WarGames. I don't know what. And we go off the air with Levesque McMahon's credits, right? Lee Fitting, Paul Levesque McMahon, Artificial Intelligence. Those are your executive producers. And that's your SmackDown, 11/14/25. This shit sucks. And I feel like I say that all the time, but wow, this is one of those shows where it's like, there has to be like an intervention with Helmsley. Stephanie, somebody. Vince, Shane, Bruce Pritchard, P.S. Hayes, anybody, everybody, intervention. This guy needs to be removed. This cannot be Survivor Series. This cannot be what we're doing. None of this makes sense. None of this is good. None of this is fun. It is so bad. And I'll leave it at that. I can go another hour telling you how bad it is, but we're going in circles at this point. 11/14/25 SmackDown. That is your amplified review. Until next time, and there will be that next time. BC saying check you, unit. Salute.